Patreon video. So if this combination of sounds and visuals help you relax or fall asleep, please consider subscribing to my channel before you fall asleep. And maybe like the video and leave a comment. I also wanted to thank you all for all of your lovely comments that you left on my channel in the last 2 weeks. I am back and hopefully uploading very regularly. And if you want to support me, since my YouTube channel is not monetized and my only income right now is from Patreon, you should head over there and check out the videos. You'll find extra videos there. And also, as I said, it's a way to support me if you want to. If not, check out my other playlists right here. And I suggest, after all that, if you're ready, that you may put away the phone, maybe bring down the brightness, maybe close your eyes, and just give yourself away to the sounds. Alright. The first article that caught my eye, as you can imagine, is about Bryan Kohberger. This one was published on June 25th, yesterday, 2025. It is from the website people.com, which is my favorite crime news website. And it is titled Bryan Kohberger Eyewitness. DoorDash driver claims she parked right next to him on night of murders. Not just this title gave me a lot of new information, well, as the titles often do. And the most important one is that Bryan Kohberger was not the DoorDash driver. And I mean, most of us knew because it was logical, but a lot of people were speculating that he might have been the DoorDash driver because there was no mention of the DoorDash driver. But if I'm not mistaken, police ruled out the DoorDash driver, so I don't know why some of the people following this case thought that he was the same driver. Apparently DoorDash driver. I saw Bryan. I parked right next to him. Interesting. Just prior to that, she told the officer, quote, "Now I have to testify in the big murder case too." When the officer asked her what murder case she was referring to, she responded, quote, "The murder case of the college girls," end quote. That is so creepy for some reason. Why is she just talking about that while police is taking her into custody? Maybe she's taken into custody for... Let's not speculate, I don't know. Let's continue reading. Prosecutors and police could neither confirm nor deny the woman's claims due to a non-dissemination order barring extrajudicial, so many big words, extrajudicial statements about the case. However, the woman shares the same initials as the DoorDash driver, referred to as MM in court filings. This is real journalism here. She is one of only 2 people believed to have seen Kohberger near the scene of the murders, with the other being the surviving roommate who told police she watched him exit the home that night. I think this man is done for. I mean, I thought that from the second I saw him. But 3 years later and so many details later, every time I learn something new, I'm even more certain that they have the right guy and that he is going to be found guilty, I think, for sure. So, I still don't understand why this woman was stopped by the police for something else and she just starts talking about that when she knows that there is a non-dissemination order and that she isn't to talk about this case with anyone. But maybe it's okay if they talk about it with the police. I don't know, I really don't understand what's going on with this woman. So the article is continued. The DoorDash driver arrived at the house in Moscow, Idaho, at 4 a.m. with a delivery from Jack in the Box for Zana Gernodle. This is according to the probable cause affidavit. Authorities believe that the killer entered the home just a few minutes later, and by 4:20 a.m. had left the off-campus residence after fatally stabbing 4 students, 4 names that I know by heart and that I don't think I will ever forget, and that I have said hundreds of times. Zana Gernodle and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin, both 20, and Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Morgan, both 21. The probable cause affidavit says that authorities linked Kohberger to the killings through DNA, allegedly found on a knife sheath, cell phone location data, and also surveillance footage showing a car matching his make and model driving to and from the scene. In emotion, laying out his alibi, Kohberger's lawyer, Ann Taylor, said the suspect was out driving by himself on the night of the murders, but that he did not kill the 4 stargazing. That's very, very weird. He said that he was stargazing in the Wawaway Park, which just happens to be a place where a body of Ted Bundy's victim was found in, if I'm not mistaken. Something related to Ted Bundy. And I find that very odd, especially since it's not confirmed, but in a documentary recently was said that after the murders he was searching a lot about Ted Bundy, and he apparently had a fascination with him. The article says Kohberger's murder trial is scheduled to begin on August 11 in Idaho County, after the defense successfully petitioned for a change of venue in the case. And I bet that the defense and Kohberger regret that decision very much so, because the last judge, named Judge in the other county, was not really good in my opinion. But this other judge in Idaho County is very serious. He doesn't let them waste any time, and ever since they have got there, they have set a date, the August 11th date, and they have stuck to it so far. So let's hope that it happens. If convicted, he could be sentenced to death. Jury selection will begin on August 4, 1 week prior to the start of the trial. And it is going to be very, very complicated, as you can imagine, with any case as, national as this. Is that the right word? I don't know, a lot of people know about it, but I'm sure there are still a lot that haven't heard of it. So hopefully they are going to find a good jury for this case. Kohberger told the public defender who represented him after his arrest in Pennsylvania that he expects to be exonerated at trial. Well, that's wishful thinking on his part. He declined to enter a plea in court, and he stood silent, and the judge formally charged him with 4 counts. When the judge formally charged him with 4 counts of murder, at which time a not guilty plea was entered on his behalf. And that is how this article was concluded. Now, what did we learn? Exactly what the title was. That the DoorDash, there is a wife, Suzanne Morphew. While Suzanne Morphew went missing in May 2020, her body wasn't found by investigators in Colorado until September 2023. Over 2 years later, Barry Morphew was charged in her death. The new effort to convict him comes after similar charges were dropped in 2022 following prosecutorial misconduct. Here's a timeline of Suzanne Morphew's disappearance and Barry Morphew's alleged involvement. On May 6, 2020, Suzanne Morphew texts her husband, Barry, quote, "I'm done. I could care less what you're up to and have been for years. We just need to figure this out civilly," end quote. 4 days later, May 10, 2020, Suzanne was last seen on May 10th. Court documents indicate that Barry told detectives that the last time he saw his wife was at 5 a.m. this day, that morning when he got up to leave for Denver, Colorado for a landscaping job. Suzanne Morphew's neighbor reported her missing to police after she disappeared during a bike ride on Mother's Day. Law enforcement officials found Suzanne's blue mountain bike, adding that there was no blood around it. One of the deputies investigating the case said he started to question if something criminal had occurred, as it looked like the bike was purposefully thrown in this location. So they found her bike on the same day she disappeared. And from that moment, they suspected that something bad had happened. A massive search effort to find Suzanne began, with involvement from the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office and FBI, and also the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. On May 13, 3 days later, investigators found Suzanne's bicycle helmet about 0.8 miles from where her bicycle was located. According to 9 News, the next day, Barry posted a video to Facebook pleading for his wife's return home. He wrote, "Oh Suzanne, if anyone is out there that can hear this, that has you, please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you home. We love you, we miss you, your girls need you. No questions asked. However much they want, I will do whatever it takes to get you back. Honey, I love you. I want you back so bad." How disgusting. The next update comes on May 5th, 2021, when Barry Morphew charges of murder after deliberation, attempting to influence a public servant, and tampering with physical evidence. He pleaded not guilty. Next year, on April 19, 2022, a Colorado judge granted motion to dismiss the case due to prosecutorial misconduct. The charges were dismissed without prejudice, meaning he could be recharged later on. On May 6, 2022, Barry Morphew and his two daughters participate in an interview with Good Morning America. During the interview, Barry Morphew said, quote, "I just love my girls, and I love my wife, and I just want her to be found." How he just doesn't give up. On May 15, 2023, it's next year, when Barry Morphew was asked during a Good Morning America interview if he was involved in his wife's disappearance, he said, "Absolutely not. They've got tunnel vision, and they looked at one person, and they've got too much pride to say they are wrong and look somewhere else. I don't have anything to worry about. I've done nothing wrong." Despite a mountain of evidence from prosecutors that there were allegedly issues with their marriage, Barry Morphew said nothing was wrong. He said, "We had a wonderful life, a wonderful marriage. She was just so loving and giving and such a good mother." Macy Morphew, his daughter, said she has never had a shred of doubt about her father. A few months later, on September 22nd, 2023, the remains of Suzanne Morphew were found by the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. Her remains were found in Moffat, Colorado, Moffat. Night 2024, late April, an autopsy ruled Suzanne Morphew's death a homicide with butyrphenol azaperone and methylmethane intoxication in her body, whatever those things mean. On June 20, 2025, it's next year, Barry Morphew was indicted by a grand jury, charging him with first-degree murder in the death of his wife, Suzanne. He was arrested in Phoenix, Arizona. The chemicals that compromise butyrphenol, azaperone, and methylmethane were found inside Suzanne Morphew's body. According to the indictment, Barry used BAM, which stands for those three chemicals. He used BAM as a tranquilizer to sedate and transport deer on his deer farm. How freaking disgusting is that? lucky to get prosecutorial misconduct and then goes on TV a couple of times, says and talks about how much he loved his wife and how they didn't have any problem, how more brazen could he get. According to investigators, Morphew was the only person in any surrounding counties who had purchased a BAM prescription between 2017 and 2020. The only person in that county. Interesting. How lucky are they that he was the only one? I mean, even if it was 1 out of 10 people, it'd still be good, but he was the only one. Morphew's attorney, David Biller, said that Morphew maintains his innocence. He also said yet again the government allows their predetermined conclusion to lead their search for evidence. The case has not changed and the outcome will not injure. And that is how this article is concluded, by the same thing that all the defense attorneys say. They just have to say that, because if they don't believe that their defendant is innocent, then what is the case? Anyway, he seems pretty guilty to me, and if that is the only evidence that they are telling us outright, it seems quite enough to me. This woman is said to have been murdered by the doctors, by the autopsy. It shows that she was murdered and that the cause of death most likely was BAM, which just happens to be a tranquilizer used on deers, that her husband was the only one who purchased it in their whole county. Now that is case closed to me. We will see what happens to this. It has taken so long for justice to be served